So what are the cheapest and best edibles? They're going to be DIY homemade edibles, guys. And let me tell you a couple ways it could be even more cost effective before we dive into a little more nitty and gritty. Number one, if you're a grower, have a grower, just have that plug in general. Not only can you use the flower, you could use the trim, shake, and larf to make your edibles. Super cool. Number two is, do you vape flower? Are you a flower vapor? You can use your already vaped weed to make your infusions. Last but certainly not least, do you press your own rosin? Use those rosin pucks for a perfect potent infusion every time. Those are a couple little hacks. And now let me tell you in general why DIY is gonna always be the most cost effective and best quality. You have full control, guys. You can go to your store, you can pick up your favorite strain of flower, your favorite concentrate. Again, if you grow or have the plug, you can do that as well. But you go there, you pick it up. So let's say you pick up a half ounce of your favorite flower. You really like, let's say, a forbidden fruit that you really enjoy. You buy a half ounce of that flower. Then maybe you really like a certain concentrate. You want something upbeat. Maybe there's this Blue Dream hash or something like that you like. So you buy your concentrate, you buy your flower. You take that home, then you choose your medium of choice. Maybe you have dietary restrictions. Maybe you just like to be a little on the healthier side, like I try to be, not always, but I infuse a lot with coconut oil, MCT oil, olive oil, and I often do those just as a tincture, or I'll just put them on top of my gummy. So the infusion process is super simple, and if it's your first time tuning in to Mason Pot here, tons of content on this channel. But just as like anything else, the DIY process is obviously gonna take a little work. You're gonna need to learn a little bit, but if you follow along on the Mason Pot kit, when you crack this open, scan this code, follow the instructions, you'll be good to rock and roll on your first batch, guys. And that first batch can usually last you a lot of time. Now I use those other examples, but let's say this, maybe you don't consume all the time. Like how long would it take you to consume 1,000 milligrams, right? That's typically 10 packs of 100 milligram gummies, right? If you bought an eighth at 30% potency, just 3.5 grams, that's gonna be 1,050 milligrams. Let's just say 1,000 milligrams you can get from an eighth if it's at 30% potency. Now do that math, how long is it gonna take you? And not only that, I wanna bring up the distillate, which I have a full video on this channel and tons of other content over on TrueBuds TV as well. Is I like to call distillate kind of the pink slime of concentrates and just cannabis in general, referring to McDonald's pink slime. But I think there's a time and place for distillate. It's basically clear, colorless, odorless, does have some taste there. Some people have gotten really good at getting rid of that taste, but that's why some people like their gummies to not taste like weed. If it doesn't taste like any weed at all, it's gonna be distillate in there, guys. Sure, there's some live rosin gummies. They've done a good job mixing it up, but I want that flavor there. I wanna know I'm getting the full entourage effect. I don't want the bottom of the barrel bullshit, like I mentioned earlier, trim, shake. I call that the bottom of the barrel for now, using this metaphor, stems, whatever, even seeds sometimes involved in the distillation process to make distillate. But the only difference between what we're doing with that shake, let's just use trim and shake right now. Here's trim and shake that we're infusing, let's say with the Mason Pot kit. And this is one going through the distillation process, which is a 6-step process, which basically burns everything else off besides the THC, the tetrahydrocannabinol. Now in this infusion here, let's say we decarboxylated this, which is activating it. We usually put it in the Mason Pot jar, 240 degrees for 40 minutes. That will give us the highest amount of possible the THC in there. Then we add, let's say, our MCT oil here. There's still gonna be other cannabinoids and terpenes within that shake and trim. Sure, not as much as that beautiful head dug or just those other beautiful buds, but there's still gonna be more going on. There's gonna be more of that entourage effect, where here they take that same stuff and just burn it all the fuck off. That being said, you can use high quality flower and high quality concentrates to make even a better product overall. So those are some important factors when it comes to choosing the best infusion for you. How often do you do it? How often do you infuse? What do you like to make? Are you a sweet person? Are you a gummy person? Are you like me? Do you want to do a tincture a lot of the time? And do you want to know exactly what's going in? And that's where you can really have fun with it. Again, especially if you are a grower, you can get really creative with other ways to go about it. And that's one of the coolest things, honestly. I've been working in the cannabis industry, like doing sales and other content for quite some time. I've been infusing for about a decade now and working on the Mason Pot function and concept for about that long. I'd say about 8 years or so on that. And I've just learned so much. Again, of course, I'm really passionate about the industry, but you'll see when you take it on and you do your first infusion, you'll start seeing like, oh, what is that decarb he's talking about? What is infusing? How does that work exactly? Like, how do I make my own gummies? What is going on? What's this process? It will inform and educate you on cannabis on a whole nother level while you're having fun, while you're making a better and more cost-effective product, guys. That's my rant on that today. Thank you for chilling with the Mason Pot fam.